Okay, let's get into this. We're taking a deep dive today into, well, a real mystery. And it feels less like something historical and maybe more like something still happening.
Yeah, we've got a whole pile of sources here. Intercepted radio signals,
Hmm.
personal stories, bits from old newspapers, even a declassified government report. Quite the mix.
Right. So our mission basically is to piece this all together, try to figure out what happened, what the key facts are, and maybe understand the really unsettling implications of what you brought us here.
Exactly. It all starts with a place called Black Hollow.
Black Hollow is a
That-
small mining town, right?
Yeah.
Appalachian Mountains.
That's the one. In 1996, it just vanished. Vanished. Like,
Literally.
gone. No survivors found, no witnesses came forward, no obvious clues left behind right away, just empty. That's ground zero for this whole thing.
Okay, and then nothing for years until last year.
Exactly. Last year, this ham radio operator, Peter McConnell, picked up something weird. A strange broadcast.
What kind of broadcast?
It was shortwave, repeating. And when he managed to isolate it, there was a voice. It was identified later as Charlie Redford.
Charlie Redford, the mine supervisor from Black Hollow back in '96.
The very same. He was asking for help, said he was trapped in the mine.
Okay, trapped in the mine. Well, that part sounds plausible, I guess, given the location. But there's more, isn't there?
Oh, yeah. The message got really chilling. He said, and I quote, "Something is in here with us. Something not human."
Something not human. Wow, okay. That's blunt.
Right. Peter, understandably, thought maybe it was a hoax at first. A prank.
Yeah, I would too.
But he checked it out, traced the frequency and the coordinates. They matched the location of the old Black Hollow mine perfectly.
So the signal was definitely coming from there.
Confirmed. It wasn't just some random broadcast.
So Peter, he didn't just leave it at that, did he? Being a ham radio guy, probably curious.
Not at all. He actually went to Black Hollow to see for himself.
He went there. What did he find? Was the town still gone?
His description was grim. He said the town looked like ashes, like it was burned from the inside out.
Burned from the inside out.
Sure.
Strange way to put it.
Very. But even weirder, the mine entrance itself, it was open?
Open after all this time. And he went in.
He did. Brave, or maybe foolish, but he went in.
Okay, deep breath. What did he find inside the mine?
Just about 100 feet in, he found stuff that, well, hard to explain. Long, deep claw marks,
Claw mark.
gouged into solid granite.
Hold on. Not scratched on wood, but dug into rock. That's not an animal we know.
Doesn't sound like it, does it? And then there was something else. He found a boot,
A boot. Okay.
just standing there,
Upright.
laced up,
And empty.
no foot inside.
Okay, wait. An empty boot just standing there on its own is incredibly creepy. Did he have any explanation for that?
His notes just mentioned finding it. But that wasn't all. While he was in there, he started hearing things.
No. What kind of thing?
Whispering. He said it sounded like dozens of voices, all whispering his name. Peter.
His name. But he'd only just got there. How would they know his name?
That's the disturbing question, isn't it? That's what he reported hearing.
So what happened to Peter?
He managed to send out one last message. It was a voicemail, actually, describing all of this, the claw marks, the boot, the whispering. It was time-stamped, 3:17 a.m.
3:17 a.m. Okay.
And after sending that voicemail, nothing. Peter McConnell was never heard from again.
Just gone. Like the town. That timestamp 3:17 a.m. feels so specific, so
Yeah,
final.
it really does. Gives you chills. But the story doesn't end there.
The radio signal Peter found, it kept going, even after he disappeared.
It kept broadcasting, same frequency. And then, after some time, a new voice started speaking on that same signal.
Not Charlie Redford.
Definitely not. This one was described as low, broken sounding, barely human, according to the report.
Barely human. What did this voice say?
It repeated a different message, even more disturbing maybe. It said, "We never left. The hollow is alive. It feeds on memory, on guilt. You came here looking for stories. You'll leave as part of them."
Okay, hold on. Feeds on memory, on guilt, and leave as part of them. What does that even mean? It sounds personal. Like it's not just a monster, but something psychological.
It certainly suggests that, doesn't it? A whole other dimension to this thing. And another weird detail, this second voice. Its pattern didn't match any known missing person from Black Hollow back in '96. It was someone or something new.
So not one of the original victims, and then the signal started moving.
Yes. That's maybe the most alarming part for, right now. It wasn't just broadcasting from Black Hollow anymore. The signal started popping up elsewhere.
Elsewhere? Like where?
It was picked up on frequencies in Missouri first, then Utah, then Oregon.
Missouri to Oregon. That's spreading across the country.
The sources are pretty clear. They state something is moving, spreading.
So whatever this thing is, this hollow entity, it's not contained, it's mobile.
Seems that way. Which naturally made people dig back into the original event in '96. Look for older clues, any survivor accounts.
And they found something.
They found an account from a miner named Jacob Price. He actually survived the original Black Hollow vanishing.
How?
Pure luck, apparently. He missed his shift that day. Didn't go into the mine.
Wow. What did he say happened? Did he know about this thing?
He had a theory. He claimed the problem wasn't exactly the mine itself,
Okay.
but what was under it. His words. He said they dug too deep.
Dug too deep and hit what?
Yeah.
Gas, water.
Something else. Something buried. That's how he put it.
Something buried. Did it do anything?
Oh, yes. According to Price, this buried thing, it moved. And it talked to us.
Talked. Inside their heads. Or out loud.
He said it talked to them. Made promises. And these promises, they started changing people.
Changing them how?
He described it happening in stages. First, people stopped sleeping. Then they started hearing voices.
Voices. Like Peter heard years later.
Exactly like Peter heard. And then, after the voices, they started seeing faces.
Seeing faces? Whose faces?
This is maybe the most chilling part of his story. Price claimed he saw his own mother. His mother had been dead for 15 years.
Oh my God. Seeing dead relatives. That sounds like what that listener Carla reported recently. We need to get to her story.
It's a disturbing parallel. Absolutely. Jacob Price's interview didn't end well either.
How did it end?
The transcript just cuts off. His last words recorded are him screaming, "It's behind the glass! It's looking through me!"
Behind the glass? What glass? And then what happened to Price?
A week after that interview, Jacob Price disappeared. Vanished without a trace.
Another one. Gone after getting too close to this. It's a pattern.
A definite, terrifying pattern. Which leads us to the government's involvement.
Ah, yes, the declassified report. Project Gloam, was it?
That's the code name, Project Loam.
Yeah.
A secret federal investigation into Black Hollow.
Secret. Figures. What did they find? Did they contain it?
Well, their main conclusion in the declassified section is odd. It just states that Black Hollow is no longer quarantined.
No longer quarantined.
Yeah.
But why? If a whole town vanished and there's this entity, wouldn't you lock it down harder?
You'd think so. But then you read the very end of the report. There's a note, mostly redacted, but some crucial words are visible.
What does it say?
It gives a stark warning. It says, entity is considered migratory.
Migratory. So they knew it was moving, even back then.
Apparently so. And the warning continues. Avoid all contact. Trust no reflection.
Avoid contact. Okay, that makes sense given everything. But trust no reflection. What on earth does that mean? Like mirrors?
It's incredibly cryptic, isn't it? But it's there in an official federal document related to this entity. It must mean something significant to them.
Okay, this is getting weirder and weirder, and it brings us right up to the present day, because this isn't just history, is it?
Not at all. We have a very recent account. A listener, Carla, from Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. So far from Appalachia? Near Pittsburgh, you said.
Right. She lives near an old abandoned mine shaft there. And she's experiencing something eerily similar.
What's happening to her?
Her radio. It turns on by itself every night, same time, 2:13 a.m.
Okay, creepy radio behavior. What does she hear? Static.
No. She hears her name being spoken.
Yes. Carla.
Spoken in the voice of her brother.
Her brother. Is he?
He passed away years ago.
Oh, wow. So he's using the voice of the dead again. Just like Jacob Price saw his dead mother. This connection is undeniable.
It really is. And Carla, she tried to make it stop. She unplugged the radio. She even took it outside and burned it.
Burned it. Did that work?
She says no. Even after being unplugged, even after being burned, it kept talking to her at night.
A burned radio kept talking? That's impossible. Physically impossible.
Seems that way, doesn't it? Not operating by normal rules. And it got worse recently.
How?
The voice, her brother's voice, started saying other names. Names of people, it seemed to be. Targeting
specific people now.
Okay.
So let's try and pull all these threads together. It's a lot.
It is. We have a town vanishing in '96, centered around a mine. Then years later, radio transmissions start from that mine, talking about a non-human presence.
Right. And Peter McConnell investigates, finds physical evidence, those claw marks in granite. The empty boot hears whispers of his name and disappears.
Then a new, inhuman voice takes over the broadcast, talking about feeding on memory and guilt, and claiming the hollow is alive and spreading.
And we know it is spreading because the signal starts appearing in Missouri, Utah, Oregon.
Then we have the historical context from Jacob Price digging too deep, hitting something buried that talked, made promises, changed people, showed them the dead, before he also disappeared.
And the government knew. Project Loam calling it a migratory entity, warning against contact, and that bizarre line, trust no reflection.
And finally, Carla's recent experience, hundreds of miles away. Radio turning on, using her dead brother's voice, speaking her name, then other names, even after the radio was destroyed.
Okay, so when you put it all together like that, what does it mean for you, the person listening? This clearly isn't just some old, forgotten story about a lost town.
Not at all. The evidence points strongly towards some kind of entity, something migratory that's moving, spreading.
An entity that communicates using the voices of people you've lost. That seems to target memory, guilt, deeply personal things. Maybe it even changes people, like Price suggested.
And the way it communicates is so specific, isn't it? Using names, using voices of the deceased, feels less like a random haunting and more like a targeted, insidious form of contact. It seems to know things about people.
Which brings up terrifying questions. What is this thing, really? Is it literally feeding on memory, or just using it?
How does that work? And what about that warning? Trust no reflection. What is that about? Is it about mirrors? Self-perception? Is the entity messing with how you see things? Or maybe how you see yourself?
Could your reflection show you something else? Something the entity wants you to see? Or maybe the reflection shows the change happening to you.
It implies the danger isn't just external, like something chasing you. It might be interacting with your mind, your past, your very sense of reality.
So, the mystery of Black Hollow. What started there clearly didn't end there. The evidence suggests something is moving, something is spreading, and its methods are deeply personally unsettling.
Yeah. And thinking about that final warning, trust no reflection.
Yeah.
Alongside the idea it feeds on memory and guilt.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Maybe this hollow, this entity, isn't just a physical thing out there. Maybe it operates on the level of perception, identity, the past. What happens when the threat isn't just something you can run from, but something tangled up with your own mind?
Yeah.
That's definitely something to think about.